Thor 5, and Taylor Swift, all in the same day. Oh, I can't wait for this. Welcome to Mirror Domains Movie News, your place for entertainment headlines. Indeed, this is a live show, a live movie news show where we talk about the trending movie news headlines of the day for May 15th. Oh my God, we're halfway through May already. Unbelievable. So what's on today's slate? We got some wicked images. Taylor Swift. It's an incident at her concert. We'll talk about that. But we got some other horror movie news stuff, like with Hellboy, The Crooked Man, a dating show horror, Universal monster movie, Daisy Ridley in a Die Hard movie. Oh my God! They say it isn't so. Well, it's not quite Die Hard. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about Star Wars Episode 10, and it's Monday, so it's the time to talk about the weekend's box office. But we start off today's show by talking about Thor 5. And what's happening with this? Because we know in the post-credit scenes for Thor Love and Thunder, they revealed Hercules, right? Thor meets his match in new MCU character Hercules in fan-made trailer. Okay, so it's just a fan-made trailer, but it got me thinking, and it does need to be addressed. Because while Guardians of the Galaxy is out now and is doing okay, it's on its way, but I don't think it's going to make $1 billion. It's going to be passing around the $500 million mark. It's beaten what Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania has done and its entire run. But here's the thing with Thor, Legend of Hercules, if that's what you're going to call it. Chris Hemsworth has already come out and said that he's kind of like, if Taika Waititi's not going to be there, he's kind of done with it. And this is the problem with the MCU right now, is stuff like this. What's going to happen in this movie, Legend of Hercules? We know that Hercules is going to be in the movie, coming after him, but we know this. We know what's going to happen in this story, even before it's done, don't we? It's going to be like, Hercules is not really a bad guy, but he's going to be sent as a bad guy, just like the way that Adam Warlock was in Guardians of the Galaxy. And by the end, he's going to be like, oh, I've been fighting for the wrong cause here. I'm all of a sudden now going to be a good guy too. And then they're going to team up against some throwaway bad guy. And it's just become to the point where the MCU is pointless. Okay, we know where the movie's going to go. We know what Thor 5 is going to do. Do we need to see this movie? You're not doing anything with the story that'll make you go, wow, you gotta check this thing out. Like, well, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. There's nothing in there that's going to make you go, wow, this is changing the game for Thor. Actually, this adds a new level to Thor. Wow, oh my God, I can't believe that they did something different with the story this time around. It's just, it's a meaningless venture. It doesn't add anything to the MCU. It's just another chapter in a book that's kind of like, how many more chapters is this going to go on for? This is just, it's run out of gas. It's no longer engaging. So I don't see Legend of Hercules, Thor 5 this is what's the problem with the MCU, and they got to fix it. They got to start pulling the triggers on some of these things, of getting away from safe storytelling. You got to have people coming out of the theater talking about the story, right? It worked for the first couple of phases where you wowed people with grand visual effects, but now it's just coming down to people acting on green screen stages with these throwaway villains and these story arcs that just don't really amount to anything, and it's pointless. And I know that's not what a lot of people will want to say or hear, but there are yes, I concede that there's that contingent out there that'll be like, oh, but James, I really want to see him fight Hercules and I can't wait to see that. Okay, fine. But I've been watching the MCU now for like its full tenure, and it's running out of gas, and they can't keep on doing stuff like this. This is the safe play. This is what you do if you were like in the first phase, right? But you're not. You're not evolving your storytelling, and you know as movie fans for Thor 5, if they go down that route that, yeah, Hercules is coming after him, and then about halfway through the movie, Hercules decides that he wants to be a good guy, and they got to team up against the bad guy that sent him, which is probably going to be Zeus. And then Zeus won't die in the end anyway because he's the god of gods. So it's kind of like, You just come out of the movie feeling that was a pointless exercise. Why do I need to spend the $13 for the ticket plus the popcorn? Why do I need to spend $30 to go see this movie that just doesn't do anything? Thor 5. This argument, uh, sadly, is going to be echoed by other fandoms as well. So there's like a fan made teaser out there. It's going to be probably images of this guy cut out from Ted Lasso and stuff like that. So I'm not gonna watch it. And then yeah, of course, you got Thor's kid with him now too. So it's kind of like, guys, unless you're gonna do something really drastic, and don't, for the love of God, don't bring Loki back. Uh, you need to put that puppy to bed, and maybe that's what needs to happen here. Is that Thor needs to be put to bed. He's not being used in a way that's meaningful. Should you do the death of Thor storyline? Maybe. See, now this is the appropriate time to do something like that. This is totally the time to do something like that. Until the time comes where maybe just put him away for a long time until like you're in phase 7 or 8, and then he's like Chris Hemsworth, like is in his late 50s, early 60s, and like, yeah, I can come back to Thor and maybe revisit that a little bit. Why not? And then yeah, there's something there. But for this, I'm a Thor 5. It's not on the docket, but it's coming down the works at some point. It's kind of like, is that what you want to see, guys? Do you really want to see the movie? And I just told you the plot. What would happen in it? They're going to fight. Oh, Hercules wants to be a good guy, and now he realizes the error of his ways. He was used. He was used. No, you know how that goes. Chris Schobert in live chat says, "Hey, how's it going? Hey, how's it going?" Kind of a weird way to start off the stories today, but I saw it. It got me thinking about the MCU because I'm just looking at the box office numbers and stuff, and like Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania underperformed. Blade just seems to be up in limbo. I don't think the Blade movie should happen or is going to happen. They need to retool that, cast like a young 25, 30 something Blade, not a 50-year-old Mahershala Ali. I know that a lot of people don't like to hear that too either, but it's just, those are the breaks. And MCU needs to break this formula of being able to predict, like it's so predictable. And in that predictability, the MCU has become pointless. And I know a lot of people won't agree with me in that, but that's just the way that it's become. Guess what? The Avengers are going to beat Kang, and Kang is the next Avengers movie. Thanos did kill some of them. He did kill some of them, even though some of them were in the blip, but he did actually kill Vision and stuff, right? Sort of, maybe, no, yes. Natasha's gone, but that was kind of like collateral stuff. So it's just, you got to do something substantial. You got to have that thing where people come out of the theater saying, oh my God, story-wise, I can't believe that they did this. Oh my God. Not, oh my God, you got to go see it because of the visual effects kind of thing. Avatar's got that covered. You're not going to match Avatar with these green screen stages, volume stage productions, which the MCU has become. And that's just where I'm standing right now. It's a little bit jaded. I understand that, but I felt like I got to get that off my chest. It's not the greatest way to start out the week, but I saw the headlines and that's the way that I had to go with it. Arglass Viking says, if Thor ties in with the up and coming Avengers movies, personally, it would be hard to ignore the next installment. But they haven't been. Like, how does Thor: Love and Thunder at all tie into anything that's been happening in the MCU? It hasn't. So, like, that used to be the thing before Infinity War, was that each of them did tie somehow into each other. Yeah, it's just become kind of like a tireless exercise, the MCU, and they need to reinvent themselves. They've just been playing it safe. Safe storytelling is going to be their undoing. They're like, oh, we can't kill that character. Oh, we can't do that. No, you got to take bold swipes. Anyway, It's Monday, so let's talk about the weekend's box office report for the weekend of May 12th to the 14th, weekend 19th. All right. The top five go. Number one was Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Number two was Super Mario Bros. Movie. Number three was Book Club, The Next Chapter. Number four was Evil Dead Rise. And number five was Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret, with Hypnotic opening up in 6th and Knights of the Zodiac opening up in the 11th spot. But those had smaller openings as well, not as many theaters. And Blackberry 450, that sort of pseudo documentary. It's kind of like a really, really embellished movie. So we'll talk about that in just a few moments. But let's start off with the headline there. The number one spot, Guardians of the Galaxy. As I said, there really wasn't that much opening up this weekend. So I expected Guardians to hang on there. It had like a 48.9% drop to 60.5 million. And that's good. Super Mario Bros. Hanging in there in the second spot. Let's go over to the Guardians of the Galaxy numbers. 213.2 domestically. Worldwide is 475.7. So it's gross more than what Ant-Man and the Wasp did in his entire run in 2 weeks. Guardians has. Now, is it on pace? Is it on tracking to make $1 billion? No. And I do not expect Guardians of the Galaxy to make $1 billion. Even though it's for me, I thought it was the best MCU film since Endgame, because it actually does something with the story. It ends things. It may not be the ending that you want or you wanted, the happily ever after kind of thing, but it's done. That team of the Guardians of the Galaxy is done. I believe it, and yeah, it ended off in good fashion. It's my favorite Guardians of the Galaxy movie. So, 475 million. Guys, the budget for this was pretty high. It was like 250 or something, right? Plus marketing, plus what theaters, hall take. It still probably needs like another 50 million to start to get to that break-even point where it's going to start to make profit. It is going to make it, but it's going to run into a brick wall this week. With Fast 10 coming out. Fast 10 comes out, and that's gonna be number one for sure. We know that. Yeah, I don't know by how much. It's probably going to be like 120, 130 maybe for Fast 10 for opening weekend. It's just going to shift everything down. Super Mario Bros. Hanging in there in the second spot with 13 million this week, and wow. Super Mario Bros. You can't champion that movie enough. Who was it that Bob Iger, from the CEO of Disney, has come out and said, "Yeah, thumbs up for thumbs up for Super Mario Bros." It's just he wants it to do well because if animated movies do well, and that's something that's happened to the Disney movies as well, guys. With just people have cashed out with Strange World and stuff like that. The Pixar movies, Turning Red. It's kind of like it's safe storytelling. It's telegraphed even before you go into the movie. You know what's going to happen. And you could say the same thing with this. Well, James, he's going to fight Bowser. Bowser's going to lose in the end. But it's just the way that this was executed, because we haven't seen, for some reason, studios just never gave it to us before. They just never did it. It's kind of like there was still the old executive regime in there saying that people won't like a straight translation of these characters on the big screen. We got to do something different with it. We got to throw out that old storyline and just deliver something entirely new. No, you don't have to. It's simple. He's got to fight Bowser. Anyway, 1.2 billion, and yeah, it's going to slow down there now. It's probably going to cap out 1.25, maybe it gets to 1.3 billion. Great haul for Super Mario. And I can't wait for the sequel that will come out for sure. For sure. Super Mario. And it just shows you how it's done. The quick 90-minute movie for Super Mario. Success. Not so successful was The Book Club coming in the third spot. Opening in the third spot. The Next Chapter. Book Club. The Next Chapter. I asked my mother if she wanted to go out and see it for Mother's Day. And it was like, meh. That was the response. Oh, no, I'm not seeing it today. It was like, oh. Well, then you're probably not going to see it. Book Club, and that's exactly what everybody else said. because that's just reflected in these box office numbers. Hate to break it to you. 6.5 domestically, 3.1 internationally, 9.6 worldwide. Now, hopefully the budget for this wasn't grotesque. But it's like a bunch of old ladies going on a trip to Italy, right? Let's see if I can pull up those numbers. The next chapter, budget, 20 million. 20 million. Okay, so that's reasonable. That's reasonable. But unfortunately, with this take, 9.6, it's going to have to make around the 30 million mark to break even. This is a different genre, so it's got like the older crowd that will go out see it during the week. So like the same crowd that goes out to see Fast 10 isn't going to go see the book club, right? The people that want to go out and see the book club. So it's got a few weeks here to play around with things. It'll hang in there, but barely, because as I said, we got Fast 10, and then after that we've got Little Mermaid that comes out. So it's just gonna get lost in the mix. Book club. Evil Dead Rise hanging in there, 3.7. Are you there, Margaret? Are you there, God? It's me, Margaret. Also, great film hanging in there in the top 5. And then talking about weak openings, like really weak. Hypnotic. Robert Rodriguez film starring Ben Affleck, which I like the trailers for this. A detective investigates a mystery involving his missing daughter and a secret government program, 2.3. That's not good. From Ketchup Entertainment. I like the trailers for it, but it opened in 2,000 theaters, and that's not good. Unfortunately, it didn't play anywhere near me. Otherwise, I would have gone out to see it. I wanted to go out and see Sisu, but it was only playing at like 9:50 at night. For some reason, the theaters around me relegated it to like the late show, and I was like, I'm not staying up that late to watch that movie. I missed my window. I'll wait for it on streaming, and I know I should probably just go out and force myself to watch it tonight or tomorrow. I still may this week, though. I may, but yeah, it's on the priority list. But I got to find time to sneak it in. Hypnotic, studios will be looking at that one and be kind of like, oh, oof, what happened here? This is not good. Hypnotic marks career worst wide opening for Robert Rodriguez and Ben Affleck. See, and here's the thing. Ben Affleck just had success last month with Air. And it's just going to prove that it's not the names that drive movies. It's not actors that drive movies anymore. It's story premises. And and as much as Robert Rodriguez would love to say that it's directors, like very few. Cameron, people will go see a James Cameron film. Christopher Nolan, they would go out see Spielberg. I would say Scorsese, but he's been putting his stuff straight to Netflix and our streaming services, like Killers of the Flower Moons are going to be on Apple TV Plus or something, right? So it's kind of like not everybody's lining up to see Scorsese movies right now either. They like Irishman. So it's not directors too much. There's very few directors out there that have that clout, and actors as well. And this had all the mix that I wanted to see. It's a sci-fi thriller. It had a weird abstract kind of Seven vibe with sci-fi thing going on with Ben Affleck. I wanted to see it. I really wanted to see it, but it opened in 2,000 theaters. The marketing let it down, I suppose. The sci-fi thriller setbacks had a few setbacks on the road to the big screen, capped by the implosion of Solstice Studios, which had been set to market and release the film. Okay, so it lost its marketing. And that's a bummer. Because I do like Ben Affleck as an actor, and I do like him as a director. I like him as a creator. I do. And I really wanted to see this movie. So it's a casualty. That is a casualty. Bummer for Hypnotic. Hopefully it opens up a little bit wider now. Or if it does, I'm going to go see it this weekend for sure. Knights of the Zodiac. This is like Gods of Egypt vibe. Knights of the Zodiac. If you've seen or saw the trailers for Tale or Gods of Egypt, which was kind of like talking about green screen stages and bad CGI. Knights of the Zodiac is that. It's got Sean Bean in it. Did you ever hear about it? Well, if you didn't, There's a good reason why. It opened up internationally first, so it's got 5 million, but the budget for this is probably a little bit higher because it's heavy in the visual effects. I don't expect it to do too much. And then the other one was Blackberry. Oh, wait, hold on. What's this Fool's Paradise? Oh yeah, that's that one with it's directed by that guy who looks like J.J. Abrams. What the heck is his name? I forget his name. But anyway, he was in like the Pacific Rim movie, and he was in Office or something. I don't know. But the other opening was Blackberry, but only in 500 theaters. It played around the town that I live in because that's where Blackberry's from. It was really a grotesque embellishment of what happened, so I don't have any. I was this close to going out to see it yesterday, and I was like, I lived through it, so it's kind of like I don't need to see it. I don't need to see somebody's glorification that somehow the two creators were no. I don't need to see that story. I don't need to see you blow smoke up my butt. So Blackberry, have your yeah, have at it, Hoss. It's not for me. You would think that I should watch it because I work there, but it's not going to happen. So yeah, but that's pretty much the box office numbers, guys, for this weekend. Pretty much expected. Things went down as we had forecasted. Glass Viking says Sisu looks good, but we don't get it for another 2 weeks. Okay, yeah. Well, I hear good things about it too. So if Sisu hasn't opened up in all the other markets yet, then perhaps it's still got some more staying power. I hear it's and the good thing about Sisu is that it's like a 90-minute movie, so that's thumbs up in my book too. Looking forward to that. Okay, Chris, you've got a bunch of stuff in here from Star Wars stuff, so we'll talk about that when we get to Star Wars. When we get to the Star Wars headlines and stuff, and you're asking about Wicked. We'll get to the Wicked here in just a few minutes. So you're watching Mirror Domains, and if you don't know how this works, we do a live show Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Which, by the way, this week, if you didn't know from last week, we started doing the Horror Weekly Roundup show on Friday. So it's going to be half Horror Weekly, half normal movie news stuff. Because it's just people just weren't watching it on the weekends. Even though YouTube says my analytics, most of you guys are on the weekends. Nobody just shows up for them. I still want to do horror movie news headlines. It's just that show will get bridged in. And I pleasantly enjoyed something called a weekend. I had 2 days off. Felt good, man. Felt good just to recharge the batteries. So, what else can you find on the channel? We did a full live movie reaction for The Mother with Jennifer Lopez on Friday. Woo! I really enjoyed that movie, The Mother. And actually, if The Mother had opened up in the theaters this weekend as well, it would have had a chunk of the weekend's box office because it was J-Lo. It was a Netflix movie. It said it turned its back on like 2 or 3 million. You're saying no, you don't want 2 or 3 million of box office revenue? It's Jennifer Lopez. What are you guys doing? But James, you just said that Ben Affleck doesn't draw people into theaters anymore. I guess I did, didn't I? But I still think just the normal clout, like, yeah, Hypnotic. You would have made around Hypnotic numbers, but you're still going to say no to that 2.3 million and put it straight on streaming? Like, Hypnotic was not good, but it's still $2.3 million, right? Anyway, I like the movie, The Mother. We watch other movies like Big Hero 6, Clone Wars movie. We watched Mandalorian series. We watch lots of series here. We're just kind of in a lull where things are running out. Like Survivor has only got 2 more weeks here for Survivor. We do that on Thursdays. And there we go. As he said, we do the horror movie news stuff on Fridays. So come join us, and you'll find lots of stuff here that you like. Lots of little shorts that get published. Lots of cool, fun stuff. If movies is your bag and you like talking about it, for sure, you're going to like it here on Mirror Domains. All right, we got a couple of Daisy Ridley headlines. And I've said this since day one, since they announced this project, Star Wars. The Daisy Ridley spin-off film. why isn't it called episode 10? It just should be called episode 10 because you're continuing on with Rey and the Jedi. I have no reason, like, thought process in my head that says, no, it's going to be about Rey and rebuilding the Jedi Order, but it's not going to be called episode 10. But what? Why? 10 Ways Rey's New Jedi Order movie will just be Star Wars. It is. Even though they say that it's not going to be episode 10, it's pretty much, it is episode 10. I don't know this thought process by Kathleen Kennedy. She's going to be rebuilding the Jedi Order 15 years after Rise of Skywalker, that abomination of a film. Directed by Charmin Obaid-Chinoy. So I'm kind of like, yeah, this headline caught my interest, so I thought we would take a look at it and see what their reasons are. 10. Rey's New Jedi Order is part of Skywalker Saga, which makes it episode 10. Well, yeah, because she's going to be... It's hard to believe that they would make this movie and not have a Force ghost Luke show up at some point. And the sequels, it's going to be kind of like, well, why didn't you also have a Force ghost of Anakin show up? Because J.J. Abrams had no idea what the heck he was doing with Star Wars. And people still go to bat for J.J. Abrams still. They haven't figured it out yet that he's not that good of a writer. 9, Rey's New Jedi Order movie is a sequel to Rise of Skywalker. Pretty much it is. It's just a continuation of her story, which is a sequel, right? So why not just call it episode 10? I don't understand this. And if you're doing episode 10, map out 3 films. It's not hard. You can do it right now. Go home and sit down and write a treatise over the weekend that this is the story arc of where things are going. Well, maybe they could be, and they should be. Hopefully they will be, but they probably won't be. So I'm not keeping my fingers crossed on that one. Number 8, Rey's New Jedi Order will likely bring back more of these Star Wars characters. Well, people do want to see Finn. I don't. I'm kind of done with Finn. He'll just be running after her, yelling, saying, Rey, 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 and then whatever. And then Oscar Isaac says that he doesn't, like, he hasn't come around like Daisy Ridley or the guy that plays Finn that I'm drawing a blank on. He hasn't come around, John Boyega. John Boyega and Daisy Ridley have come around. At first, they were just like Oscar Isaac that said, no, I'm done. I don't want to come back to it ever again. And actually, John Boyega has come out and said some rather really loud declarations about it, saying that he has no interest in coming back. But he's turned around and said that he would be open to it. But I think Oscar Isaac has moved on from Poe Dameron. He does want to come back. Poe Dameron is a good example of exactly why J.J. Abrams is not a good writer. Because Poe Dameron was supposed to die in the sand in the beginning of Force Awakens. And just because they liked Oscar Isaac and he was a real hoot on the set, they're like, no, he's going to survive. How? Does it really matter? He's just going to show up. That is bad writing. That's lazy writing. And that's should be case 1 for a lot of people as to why J.J. Abrams is a bad writer and storyteller and director and why he should not be allowed any project in the future. That's in my opinion. There you go. That's how I feel about J.J. Abrams. Rey's New Jedi Order is set too close to the Rise of Skywalker. Well, it's 15 years after. Is it too close? The original treatment from Lindelof wanted to make it where she's like 60 years from New Jedi Order, and she would have been much, much older, which I think would have been a little bit wiser. That is the distinction. That's the distinction that you would have needed. Like, Kathleen Kennedy doesn't want to make this episode 10 for some reason, but it's going to be too close. People are going to be, well, it's going to be episode 10 anyway. If you wanted to make it so separate, like a side project, then you would have needed to make it like 60 years later so that it would have been very much side story, right? Because episode 10 and 11 and 12 would happen in between when she's much younger, right? Which she's going to be. It seems like they're beating a dead horse here with some of these headlines. Rey's new Jedi Order will premiere not too long after the Rise of Skywalker. See, that's the same. That's the same thing as number 7. What are you talking about? It's too close. It's too close. It'll premiere not too long after. It's the same thing. Rey's new Jedi Order builds up themes from the sequel trilogy theme. Meh. Rey's new Jedi Order movie continues Luke Skywalker's failed mission. Shouldn't have been a failed mission. Shouldn't have been. It was like that was the biggest mistake. One, aside from not having Han, Leia, and Luke together in the same scene, the second one was making him like a disgraced fallen master Jedi. Yeah. Rey's new order will still be affected by Palpatine. Really? How? I don't see how that'll happen. For God's sakes, that was one of the worst. And then that's another case for J.J. Abrams as a bad writer. Somehow Palpatine has returned. Guys, it's just so hard that this happened to Star Wars, right? Rey New Jedi Order is fixing Star Wars sequel trilogy mistakes. Mistakes? What do you mean? That we wanted to see a new Jedi Order being built? Yes, that's what we wanted to see. That's what Episode 7 should have been. But for some reason, it wasn't. Rey's New Jedi Order will bring Star Wars back to the cinemas. Well, it's going to do that regardless, if it's good or bad. Like Episode 7? No, I don't think so. The thing about this Rey movie is it's not guaranteed $1 billion. And people say that there's the argument that it's Star Wars. If you had Luke, Han, and Leia in it, it's going to make $1 billion. Yes. And you say, well, you can just film them taking a dump and it's going to make $1 billion. Well, that's precisely sort of what J.J. Abrams delivered to us. A big pile steaming of Force Awakens. Again, don't be fooled by the flashy lights, man. That's what people are, and the visual effects. Again, you want to have that reaction where you're coming out of the theater talking about the story, saying, wow, that was a really good story. Not, it was kind of cool seeing Han and Luke, but they were never in the same scene together, so it had the elements in there. Yeah, you guys, you know how I feel about it. It's just, it's not my Star Wars. I'm curious to see, like, if they can do a Rey story here and have it small. You know, it doesn't have to be involved with like the politics of the universe at the time. She's rebuilding the Jedi Order. Have it a small, contained story of her training a bunch of new people, and one of them starts to feel tinglings of the dark side. Deal with that. That's the backbone of the story, right? And she uses influences of Force ghosts like Luke. She can have counsel from somebody who's a man, and it's not detracting from her strength as a female, but that's the way that Kathleen Kennedy perceives it for some reason. She's got to do it all by her own. If you give us more of that, Kathleen Kennedy, that like what they did with the 7 and 8 and 9 with her, people won't go out and see it. It's not the reaction that she wants. She's going to get. But as I said, they keep it small and contained, keep it character driven. That she really has the high hopes for this one pupil, but the pupil's starting to feel the dark side, right? What happens? And she would learn from what happened to Kylo Ren. And of course, you know, a Jedi would never, ever raise their lightsaber with the thought of killing someone. That's not what a Jedi would ever do. You understand that? And somebody who has the audacity to tell me that that's Luke Skywalker's character, get bent, because you're not a Star Wars fan. And how dare I say that? Well, how dare you say that to me back? So there you go. I've ragged on it. I've kind of sullied the show talking about the negativity of these kinds of things. All right, let's take a look at what Chris Schober had said about some of his stuff, because he did talk about it as well. So I want to see what those comments were. Let's see. Kathleen Kennedy said that in an interview that Luke Skywalker's Force Ghost is going to come back as a spirit to guide Rey and help her to fight the Empire. Well, hopefully there is no Empire. Hopefully show us the side where peace and harmony actually has come back. We don't need that galactic threat anymore. Unless you use the Yuuzhan Vong. That's the only way that I want to see it. Or somehow, whatever's going to happen with the Filoni movie, somehow Thrawn survives and Rey's got to come and fight with whatever threat that Thrawn's going to be fighting against, right? It's there. Like if Thrawn doesn't die in his movie, that Thrawn is still a big threat, for sure. That's the way I would drive things. Have Emperor Palpatine's, like in the expanded universe, that's now sort of not canon anymore. Like Palpatine was building all these super weapons to defend themselves against other threats as well, too, right? Like he was somewhat sort of aware that the Yuuzhan Vong were sort of out there, right? Have that kind of transfer to Thrawn, that Thrawn wants to build up these armies. Thrawn wants to build these super weapons to help defend against the incoming threat, because he spent all this time in the Outer Rim, so he knows that they're there. Build into that, develop that. That's what I would say. Chris Schober says, in the upcoming 2025 Star Wars movie, I can't wait to see what Luke Skywalker's Force Ghost Spirit is going to do. I hope it's perfect performance. Well, Mark Hamill delivered, like even when he was doing Last Jedi, where he didn't agree with anything that Rian Johnson was doing with the character, he still showed up as a professional and did his best with the material that he was given, right? Even though he didn't agree with it. And it sucks. That sucks for him. I felt so bad for Mark Hamill. Not because he's fine financially, whatever, but like morally, right? He, like, a whole generation of people idolize Luke Skywalker as the person that doesn't walk away from audacity, that doesn't turn his back on his friends, who would never raise a lightsaber to a family member, which they basically were, right, to Kylo Ren. He would never, ever, ever do that. And he would fight to the bitter end. If it cost him his life to save Kylo Ren from turning, he would do it. Maybe that's what they needed to do with the Rey movie, is that she would fight to the death to save her student from turning to the dark side. And now that would be bold storytelling if you killed Rey. They're not going to, because Kathleen Kennedy is wants to make sure that she's like the big idol out there, right? Which Luke was for a lot of people. Anyway, I'm ranting here. to help Rey to build the Empire order and fight against them. I don't know. Artglass says the dream scenario would have been to have completed the final trilogy with Filoni and Favreau straight after the curtain closed on Lucas Episode 3. And then OG Luke's Han and Leia's would have been young enough. That would have been the dream. And this, see, de-aging technology is just getting to the point where we could have done that if Carrie Fisher was still with us. And the way that they only could ever do that now is by having a complete CG rendered model of her, which apparently she signed over the rights to the studio to use. They could use likenesses of her. But I don't know if I would want to watch an entire movie with her as a CG character until it actually looks like a real person, right? It's getting close. It is getting close, but not for something that would carry it. I think a good experiment on that would be if they somehow developed the Shadows of the Empire storyline that happens in between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, where you do get to see a younger Han and Luke and Leia, where they're smaller roles. Do something like that as a stepping stone into something like that. I don't know. That's what I would like to see. But anyway, there's still lots there. The Daisy Ridley movie, bottom line, just call it episode 10. I never understood that. I agree with that. We've been talking about that for a while now. Let's get back into another Daisy Ridley headline, because she's the topic of conversation. We talked about this last week, and I wanted to recap this. So, Daisy Ridley in a Die Hard movie? Well, sort of. It's called The Cleaner. Daisy Ridley to lead action thriller. Okay, so what's it? Why am I calling it a Die Hard thing? Let me read you the synopsis. Cleaner is a nail-biting thriller, unique and original. And original? How's that original? Basically, much of the film takes place on the side of the Shard, hundreds of feet up in the air. And so basically, she's a window cleaner, and a bunch of terrorists take over the tower, and she's got to fight the terrorists because she has a military background. Very Nakatomi, very Die Hard with Daisy Ridley. So that's why I called it Die Hard. The Cleaner. What do you expect in The Cleaner? From Martin Campbell. Ridley is set to portray Joey Locke, a former soldier turned window cleaner who has found herself in the middle of a terrorist attack. The project is... Who said we were terrorists? Hey, I would play the terrorist. Come on. I should submit an audition tape. The project is produced by some people. Who cares about that? Set in the present-day London, the film will see the radical activists take over the energy company's annual gala at the Shard, the tallest skyscraper in Western Europe, seizing 300 hostages in order to expose the corruption of the hosts. Okay, so maybe they are a little bit of a terrorist. They're just... I just like the... what did they say here? Unique and original in both its characters and setting. Okay, well, original in its characters. You know, for the longest time, after Die Hard, we had a whole bunch of scripts that came out where it kind of like, it's Die Hard in a hockey arena with Jean-Claude Van Damme. It's Die Hard on a boat, on a Navy boat with Steven Seagal. We had those because the studio gets a good idea and they flood scripts with the same kind of ideas. And then eventually some of those scripts get put away and then get resurfaced and repurposed as a Die Hard movie, which happened to like Die Hard 3. I think it happened with the last Die Hard over in Russia. So this reeks of that kind of approach, right? The Cleaner with Die Hard, but with Daisy Ridley. I actually, oddly enough, have nothing against this premise. I got no arguments. Because I do like the Die Hard scenario, and I'd watch it with Daisy Ridley trying to take it out, trying to outsmart these people. I look at her IMDb, however, and I'm not seeing it listed. She had that small role in The Bubble. Ugh. Thank you for reminding me about that travesty. She also has something out this year that was at the film festival circuit. Sometimes I think about dying. But we see that she's got a couple of things in post-production. Young Women and the Sea, Magpie, Women in the Castle. I don't know what that's in pre-production. And of course, then she's got the Star Wars movie, New Jedi Order, that's in development. Here it's being listed as 2027. That's not confirmed, by the way. So IMDb, that's not confirmed. Because some people think that one's going to be the 2025 film. And then she's got something called The Inventor. Post-production was just a voice, so maybe that's an animated film for 2023. And then she's got The Marsh King's Daughter, which is completed for 2023, but I'm not seeing The Cleaner on there, but it obviously is happening because they got the director, they got the script, they got the lead actress in Daisy Ridley for The Cleaner, or Cleaner. You guys think about this? Yeah. I check it out. I am a Daisy Ridley fan, despite what you heard about my opinions of the sequel trilogy. I still believe in her as an actress. I'm curious to see her works. So, Cleaner, Die Hard with Daisy Ridley. What do you think about that? Let me know in the comments below and we will talk about it. Wow, we are running really late today. So what if we run over time, James? Whatever. Let's talk about that Universal monster movie from Radio Silence. It's got some really interesting casting announcements. Catherine Newton, we just saw her in Ant-Man and the Wasp. She was the daughter. Angus Cloud and Will Catlett join untitled monster movie from Scream 7 filmmakers. From Radio Silence. And then we also got news that, one of the people from Matilda musical is going to be in it as well, right? So plot details are being kept under wraps, but the project at one point was titled Dracula's Daughter. The project centered on a group of kidnappers who abduct a band of young people, one of whom ends up being the titular character, Dracula's daughter. Woe betides the kidnappers because, hey, you kidnap a bunch of young people and then one of them turns out to be Dracula. I'm guessing that one's going to be played by Melissa Barrera. And then, you got a bunch of young people. Maybe these two are the kidnappers. Or you know what? Catherine Newton's going to be one of the younger people that gets kidnapped. Probably. That's what I'm detecting with my sniffer. That just seems very, very classic. Classic fare. No, it's not going to have Daisy Ridley. Let's pull up his director credits and take a look at this project. Because these guys did the Scream movies. He did Scream 5 and Scream 6. They work as a team. They're called Radio Silence. Just wanted to take a look at his upcoming projects here to see what's on the docket. So he's also doing pre-production work for Escape from New York. That's supposed to be not a sequel, not a reboot, but kind of like a requel that may have Snake Plissken show up. But anyway, we're talking about the untitled monster movie here. Other castings, Dan Stevens, Ooh, Kevin Durant is going to be in that. Cool. Dan Stevens was the other big casting announcement in this untitled monster movie. Maybe Dan Stevens plays Dracula. Oh, wow. That would be kind of cool. Dan Stevens as Dracula? I've heard reports that he doesn't like to always do the same type of roles. I don't know what this is for here, but you can see him as a Dracula. And by Dracula's daughter, I don't mean like he reproduced to create a daughter. I mean like he bit somebody and that's his daughter kind of thing. Like, you know what I mean? So he could have easily bit somebody like Melissa Barrera. I do like Dan Stevens. He's going to be in the new Godzilla and Kong movie, New Empire, next year. So that's going to be interesting to see. I'm on board for that. Melissa Barrera in there as well. This project is pretty cool, man. And Kevin Durant, he was in The Strain. He was also in Lost. You'd recognize him if you saw him. I'll pull him up here. He usually plays like the muscle for the bad guys. He's usually that typecast into that kind of thing. But he is a good actor. You recognize him when you see him. Oh, there he is in that atrocious movie called The Cosmopolis. Octavia Spencer with Russell Crowe. You'd recognize him. Yeah. There, that's The Strain, right? I think. He was good in that too. He was one of the reasons to watch The Strain. Good actor. Looking forward to that. All right, let's keep on with the Melissa Barrera thing, because she's going to appear in that monster movie as well. We saw that on the IMDb, right? Melissa Barrera is going to be in a rom-com, a dating horror show movie. What the heck is this? Melissa Barrera and Nicholas Hoult to star in dating show horror movie. And I'll tell you this, over the weekend, lots of people were publishing stories that Nicholas Holt's going to be up for the new Superman movie as Superman. I don't believe that. Maybe as Lex Luthor. But I do like Melissa Barrera, and she really shined in Scream 6. She really did. So I'm really looking forward to a lot more from her. Nicholas Hoult, you guys know how I feel about him. He's a talented actor. He's good in almost everything that he's in. Well, everything. We just watched The Menu here on the channel with him, so I'm looking forward to that. A dating show horror movie sort of thing. So a little bit of romance mixed in with some stuff here. It's called The One, about a reality dating show gone horribly wrong. Why does this premise sound vaguely familiar to me? Maybe we covered this on the Horror Weekly Roundup. We've been dreaming up this project for years and thrilled to now bring it to life with our actual dream team. Nick, Melissa, Riley, and Lana are some of the most exciting talents around, and their passion for the film shared by incredible producing. Come on. The new film described as an erotic nightmare. Erotic nightmare. Imagining a worst-case scenario for someone who goes looking for love on a reality dating show. In the movie, Melissa Barrera plays Taylor, a young woman who makes a last-ditch effort to find love by joining a reality dating show, and the competition gets down to Taylor and two other contestants, all of whom are hoping to be chosen by the one. Okay, so yeah, we did talk about this, right? He's kind of like the Bachelor, and it gets down to the final two, and let me guess, he wants to kill one of them, right? Or maybe both of them. That's probably what's going to happen. Yeah. Simple premise, once again. Keep the budget low. Work on that emotional backbone of the characters. And it should be okay, I would imagine. Teases the film nightmarish horror about the romantic and psychological warfare waged between our beloved popular entertainment, and begs the question, are the viewers complicit? What? So by watching this nightmare unfold, are we complicit in the tragedy of it? I don't know if I want to see more of that kind of an angle. That seems a little bit more of a wagging your finger at, you shouldn't be watching all these reality shows kind of thing. I don't know about that. Stay away from that mentality. Focus in on the character stuff. And if the character stuff isn't existent, then you got some script problems. But I do like the cast. I don't think we got a release date for this listed. No. Not yet. All right. But we know that's in the works. Nicholas Holt's going to be busy, man. If he gets caught up in the Superman movie somehow, I don't think, as I said, I don't believe the reports that he's going to be Superman. I think that's probably going to go to that other guy. We'll take a look at that when we get to the hit or miss headlines. But him as a Lex Luthor, possibly. Possibly. Okay. Hellboy, the Crooked Man. Yes. Hellboy, the Crooked Man. We talked about this. Talking about keeping your budget small, which is what this Hellboy movie is going to be. It has apparently wrapped filming. So, Hellboy, the Crooked Man wraps filming. Mike Mignola praises what he's seen so far. The creator helps with this faithful adaptation. So this is like a prequel sort of kind of thing. It's from the guy who was in the movie, or in the series The Strain, who played like the bad guy in The Strain. So he's our new Hellboy. It is wrapped filming, and it should be just around the corner then, you would imagine, right? So they've wrapped principal photography on the new Hellboy movie. So it's all in the can. And it's going to be using the Crooked Man storyline from the comics. So I liked the last Hellboy with David Harbour. I did. But I realized that through that, Hellboy is not a big enough property for mass appeal. It just isn't. It's not going to be a movie that even with its best story, its best foot forward, a Hellboy movie's never going to make $1 billion. So you got to think smaller budget. You got to think small wheelhouse. Think about that emotional backbone story again, like with Hellboy and his feelings about his father and stuff like that. Deal with like that kind of thing. Like find that narrative and just accent it, highlight it, drive it home. Let actors do their thing, right? Uh, I'm not familiar with the Crooked Man storyline, so I'll keep my eye on this. As I said, I did like the last Hellboy. I liked the first Hellboy from Guillermo del Toro. The Golden Army was kind of like meh for me. It was kind of like, yeah, actually, I didn't like the Golden Army. I'll be honest with you guys. Okay, so let's take some live comments here. Going back to the Daisy Ridley story, Arglass says, I'd rather see Daisy Ridley act opposite Keira Knightley in a costume drama like Bridgerton or Downton Abbey, even Carnival Row or with Enola Holmes. What, rather than in that Die Hard scenario? Pairing her with Keira Knightley would be kind of cool. In a Star Wars movie. No, I don't know. Kevin Durant is a stand-up dude, very versatile actor. Yeah, he is. Kevin was unrecognizable in I Am Number 4. Oh, it's been a long time since I've seen I Am Number 4. Chris Schubert says, I'm not looking forward to seeing Star Wars Acolyte. Well, that's a series that's in works. I think it's been paused too because of the writer's strike and stuff. Actually, I think it's all in the can. That one might be all done. Actually, I think it is, yeah. I don't know. Transformers 7 movie Scourge trailer just dropped. Well, I don't care about the TV clips and stuff. I'm hyped for the new Transformers. I don't need any more encouragement. All right, let's get into that Wicked movie headline. Sorry. I had pulled up the IMDb for Hellboy. I was looking there for what if there was a confirmed release date, and there isn't yet. So Jefferson White, Jack Kessie, Leah McNamara, Adeline Rudolph are in this. Nobody else that I recognize in there. So that's the Crooked Man. Wicked. Wicked is going to be told in two parts. It's a adaptation of the musical of the Wicked Witch of the West, or like the Two Witches of Oz, right? Part 1, and it's going to have Ariana Grande in it. The story of how a green-skinned woman framed by the Wizard of Oz becomes the Wicked Witch of the West. The first of two-part feature film adaptation of the Broadway musical from John M. Chu. Why are we talking about this? Because we got some new images from it. Some actually good set images. It's going to have Michelle Yeoh, Jeff Goldblum, Jonathan Bailey, Ariana Grande. And that's the highlight for me. It's going to be a musical. Hey, you got to hire musical talent for a musical. Why not? And Ariana Grande, you've heard me champion before, where she is one of those singers out there where she, she actually is involved with the songwriting and takes care of her voice and actually can sing, right? And doesn't rely on the voice modulators and all that kind of crap. Yeah, so I respect her because of that. Let's go over and take a look at some of these new images from the Twitter sphere that should have been already loaded up, but for some reason hasn't. More looks at Ariana Grande. So she's going to be playing the good witch. She's not going to be the one that turns green, right? So these are better images, trust me. The other images that I've seen were like really far away and you couldn't really see that much. These are a little bit more clear. She's not facing us here, but I want to see what she can do as an actress. I do. Because she's an artist, and artists like to dabble in other mediums besides just singing or painting and stuff like that. Acting is definitely an artist. Has an artistry to it. So I'm looking forward to seeing what she can do with that. That it? That's it. When does the first part come out? Later this year. November 27th. Oh, next year. What? Oh, there was supposed to be 2 parts. I thought part 2 was supposed to be next year. So we're still over a year away from this? My God, that's some long post-production for a stage production or an adaptation of a stage production. That doesn't compute. I think IMDb must be wrong with this. It's got to be wrong. That for some reason I thought it was going to be this year. No, it says November 7th, 2024. But my God, over a year of post-production on a movie called Wicked? Well, they're filming both parts, so maybe, I don't know, still, it's kind of like, oof. Oof. All right. Talking about singers. Talking about singers that I admire. Taylor Swift is in the headlines because of a incident at a concert. Let's take a look at that. Taylor Swift puts a pause on Bad Blood to tell security to lay off fan at Philadelphia show. So, yeah, she apparently saw security like not handling someone the way that she liked. And she stopped singing her song Bad Blood. And you could hear the backup singers in the background, but it was I like to look at it as proof that she was actually singing, which is good, because I had pause because she's been putting on these shows that are like 3 hours long. And guys, singing for 3 hours. Now, she doesn't sing for the entire 3 hours. I grant there's pauses in between, but my God, that's a lot of material and it's hard on the voice. So I questioned if the validity of that she would be singing all of the songs. But in the clip that I saw, she actually was singing. So that's good. Just a testament to her work ethic too. She was like singing and she was like, whoa, stop. What are you guys doing over there, kind of thing. Have you seen those videos before? Like, what was it? I know Eddie Vedder has stopped concerts for it. And Dave Grohl has, at Foo Fighters concerts, like where people, they stop the band and they're like, whoa. And they see people fighting in the crowd and they're like, hey, security, get those people out of here, kind of thing. Yeah, so it was like one of those incidents. But Taylor handled it with class. Good for her. There is video footage of it out there. Oops. Yeah. This is not the best angle of it. Yeah, see, she was like, get away there. But then she turns back and gets back into the song. But you could tell that she was actually, the mic was actually picking up her voice there, which was good. And then she was in key, she was in pitch, so that's good. That wasn't the best angle. There's another angle of it out there where you get to see her looking down at the person, kind of thing. Somebody had that, so that's cool. Just another reason there as to why I admire Taylor Swift. Cool, man. Cool in my books. Okay. Normally we're done the show by now, but we still got some hit or miss headlines that we'll go through. And then we'll take a look at the Twitter sphere to see if I've missed anything. Okay. Here we go. Hit or miss. If it's a hit, we'll talk about it. If it's a miss, we'll move on. Talking about singers. Kelly Clarkson addresses report alleging toxic work culture on her talk show, committed to maintaining safe and healthy environment. Now, you've heard past things like with Ellen, the diva behavior that you work and you do as I say, because I'm the talent here. I'm the big talent. Everybody comes to see me, so I can treat you any way that I want, kind of thing. Now, luckily, when I read this article, Kelly, that's not what was going on here with Kelly's incident. This incident, which does fall under toxicity in the workplace, was that people were demanded to work longer hours with really, well, in some cases, no pay. Hey, you're staying an extra 2 hours today because if you want your job tomorrow, you're going to stay. That's toxic, right? So not necessarily diva behavior, but unjust behavior still qualifies as toxicity. And I, of course, will stand with the workers all the time. It's still a negative clout that you got to kind of like, you can't let that happen. And at least she's come out and said that, made the statement she's committed to maintaining a safe and healthy environment, Kelly Clarkson. So she didn't have that higher, holier than thou mentality. It's just, hey, sometimes work does go overtime, especially on shows, like this, like what we're doing right now. We're going overtime, right? But that's okay because I didn't have a show planned for 1 p.m. anyway. So, hey, we'll just continue doing this because that's what I like. That's kind of a hit. I wanted to highlight that. I wanted to show that there are some differences out there, right? In cases. What's next? Simon Pegg is in the headlines, and it's taking a while for that page to load up. Simon Pegg hid alcoholism on Mission Impossible set. Mission Impossible 3. You learn how to do it without anyone noticing. Wow. If you're lucky. Simon Pegg fought alcoholism. I didn't know that. Especially after he made all those movies, like the Cornetto trilogy. Like The World's End was all about drinking. But that's part of the culture, right? Going to pubs when you're done work. Hey, I'll see you at the pub kind of thing. And for normal people, going out to a pub and having one, and then going home and going to sleep and getting up the next day that's a normal thing. But for some, that one turns into two. And then once you have that two, that voice in your head clicks and says, "We're off to the races, man." And looks like he fought that. And I hope he's come through it. It sounds like he has, right? You become very sneaky when you have something like that in your life. You learn how to do it without anyone noticing. Well, no, there's things that happen that people catch on. Why are you always going to the washroom, man? Why does you always smell like mouthwash after? You just went to take a leak like 10 minutes ago. What's going on here? Hey, and you'll see a little bit of wobbling or something like that. You'll see it. You can't hide it. You're not fooling anybody. My relationship with him is just simple. Says Peg. So he fought it, but we're going to see him in Dead Reckoning this year, guys. So he fought it. It looks like he overcame it. So kudos to Simon Pegg for that. Thumbs up. John Travolta and Katherine Heigl to star in rom-com. That's Amore. What? They better not be the two that are going to be falling in love, because Travolta is 60, in late 60s now. She's still like late 40s. I don't know. I do like Katherine Heigl. Now, talking about diva behavior, Katherine Heigl was undone by diva behavior. So much diva behavior that she would make a movie and then come out in the press tours for that movie and trash the movie. Like, what did she do that for? 40-year-old virgin. Something with Seth Rogen she did that with. She came out and was like, I don't like this anymore. I was like, for God's sakes. I do like her as an actress. But yeah, she kind of buried herself. That's Amore. Is coming together. John Travolta to play the lead roles. Really? With Christopher Walken. Cool. Deadline reports this. So what's this about? A modern day Marty. He's never been married, and his best dating for years are well behind him. He's never heard the words "I love you" and figures he never will. Patty Amore Heigl has her share of problems as well. Shy and introverted, she's filled with various tics and nervous habits. A secret from her past combined with her overprotective father. What the heck is going on here? Have caused her to withdraw from the dating game, and let me guess, they find each other and fall in love. It's just that age gap seems a little bit gross. Yeah, it does. I'm sorry. That age gap is well, I guess it happens in Hollywood all the time, but that doesn't make it okay. She's 44. Oh God, she's 44. Falling in love with the guy Travolta. I guess after a certain weight, it happens all the time, James. It's happened throughout history. Um, 1954, 69. So God, he's gonna be 70. A 70-year-old falling in love with a 44-year-old. No, no, no. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it because she's still beautiful. She's still, yeah. But as I said, she had that diva behavior that kind of undid her career for a while. She's done apologizing. You're never going to be done apologizing after you burned. She burned bridges, and it's a shame because she does have talent, acting wise. She does. The camera likes her. She was in that one where she was like a murderer or something, right? Of like a neighborhood or something. She killed people in her garage or something, and she was like a normal suburban mother or something. Wasn't there like that? Something like that. Artglass says in the live chat, ironic that she's singing Bad Blood. Yeah, about Taylor. That's surprising about Simon Pegg. He was running every day when he moved to the States. I thought the temptation would have been less with friends like Tom Cruise in your circle. Glad he's addressed it. Yeah. Well, sometimes with that kind of thing, it's cathartic too, just to let people know that I had that battle. I got through it, for sure. Pfeiffer says, congrats for the Blue Jays sweeping the Braves. Did they win last night? I was out. I started to watch the game and they were behind by two runs in the fifth or something. Or no. I saw Springer hit the home run in the fifth to make it 5-4. So they must have come back. I went out to my Mother's Day meal. I'm sorry. I missed the end of that one. Yeah, Artglass says a 70-year-old millionaire pilot. What does she see in him? Well, that's just Hollywood for you. Young, the way too young of a woman. I always look at it like this. Would you want to see a movie of a 25-year-old dating a 1-year-old? No, you don't want to see that. That's gross. Or let's say a 15-year-old dating a 40-year-old. You want to see that? No, that's gross and very illegal. uh, yeah, that's the way that I look at it. I guess that was sort of a hit because we talked about it for a little bit. Meg Foster joins Masters of the Universe voice cast Revolution. She played Evil Lynn in the live action series or movie with Dolph Lundgren. I do like Meg Foster. This one's kind of a miss. She's going to be playing this character that's kind of like a computer for Eternia. Just a cool little nod. That's that Kevin Smith version of He-Man. But he's a fanboy enough that he would cast her. She had those eyes. She was also in They Live, right, with Roddy Piper. Her eyes. Yeah. That's kind of a hit. What's next? That's it? All right. So we're on to Cinema Blend. This is where I was just going to scroll for some headlines, but I don't think anything else is noteworthy in here that we can find. Rumors are swirling that King Charles is sick of Queen Camilla's hairy complaints. Oh, yeah, whatever. This is why I don't use Cinema Blend, because it's all. This is the tabloid style headlines. The monkey. Yeah, we don't need to take a look at that. We got 2 new posters for Extraction. Chris Hemsworth. Extraction 2. Yeah, we'll be doing a full live watch along for this next month, guys, on the channel. Extraction. I like the first one. It's not something that I have revisited, but I did like Hemsworth in it. So Extraction 2. I think that's it from the Reddit verse. Let's go over to the Twitterverse. See if we got anything in there that has dropped. Maybe a new trailer's dropped. there's going to be a bunch of, it's going to be Fast 10 week, basically. 8 years ago, Mad Max Fury, no, 8 years? My God. That was my favorite movie of that year. 8 years. Wow. First look at Edwin Part of You coming to Netflix. Don't care about that. Prima Facie. Cynthia Eviro. Yeah. Extraction 2 looks excellent. Looking forward to the watch along. Arglass says, yeah, me too. I'm looking forward to that watch along. Simon Pegg says he does not ask Tom Cruise about anything related to his personal beliefs because that would be abusing my privileged access that I get to him. Oh, yeah, okay. Then, yeah, you do get, that's what pays off about, whenever, it was the third movie, right, that they brought Peg in. They did have good on-screen chemistry, those two. That team dynamic. He fit in like a glove with him and Ving Rhames, those three. Cynthia Evaro, okay, we know that. Timothée Chalamet is the new face of Chanel Blue. Cannes Film Festival kicks off tomorrow. Oh, okay, so we'll be getting some Cannes headlines soon. That'll be cool. Killers of the Flower Moon, 4-hour cut. Jesus. Scorsese again. This one I'm looking forward to, the Alicia Vikander movie. That one. Oh yeah, Kate Blanchett plays like a nun, right? Trying to save people in one film. Natalie Portman. Cool. Yeah. Look forward to that. All right. Timothée Chalamet, Chanel Blue. Chanel Blue. What's this? First look at Turn On Me with Nick Robinson and Belle Powley. Under the control of a pill that eradicates human emotion of a young couple. Oh, no. You don't get to use that. No, that's a plot line that I have throughout one of my films. Actually, one of my franchises is that these bad guys, they use a pill to suppress emotions so that they become better at their jobs. But unfortunately, that, one of the plot lines is that what are the ramifications of that, of erasing your emotions, right? Yeah. Well, hey, James, if you don't make these movies of yours, then people are just, eventually those storylines are going to come up. But anyway, it doesn't look like it's going to be about bad guys. It's just going to be about lovers. Under the control of a pill that eradicates human emotion, young people skip their dose and discover love, joy, and the S word for the first time. But they quickly come to realize they must handle the emotional baggage that comes with it. Okay, whatever. Well, that's just the things I've grown up. But I do like the take. It is an interesting story idea of having a pill that gets rid of your emotions and stuff. Jennifer Lawrence and Nicole Kidman are at Taylor Swift's concert tonight. They were at the concert last night? Cool. Jennifer Lawrence. Do you have footage? Jennifer Lawrence spotted at the concert. Cool. Can I blow that up? Huh? Looks like they got their own little cordoned off booth area there. So people recognize that that's Jennifer Lawrence. Wow. Yeah, people are going out to see Taylor Swift, man. They are. Lots of celebrities are. So her tour is doing successful. Wow. Okay, so the BAFTA TV awards were last night, and I guess Kate Winslet won, and what else? Who else won? Dahmer won, right? Ben Winshaw. Happy Mother's Day to Kiki Palmer. Yeah, if we can get a copy, if I can find a copy of Nope, we'll be watching Mother's Day. Or not Mother's Day, sorry. We'll be watching Nope with Kiki Palmer. Happy birthday to Sofia Coppola on the 14th. So her birthday was yesterday as well. I do like Sofia Coppola as a director. I didn't mind her. I'm somebody, everybody gets on her for being in Godfather Part 3. But guys, I give her a lot of break because she came in last minute. It was supposed to be Winona Ryder, and then because it was her father, and how could you not say no to your father, right? Directing. So I don't fault the shortcomings of um, Godfather 3 because of her. A lot of people do, and I wish they didn't, but yeah, there she is making her. That's my favorite movie, Marie Antoinette by her, with Kirsten Dunst. I would love to do a watch along with that one with you guys too. That good director. She's got the eye. She does. I like her style. Anna de Armas, Jude Law, Alicia Vikander, and Daniel Bruhl to star in Ron Howard's new film, Origin of Species. It's described as darkly comic tale of murder and survival about a group of characters who abandoned civilization in the Galapagos. Well, that cast is top notch. Anna de Armas, Jude Law, Alicia Vikander. Good to see that she's coming back into things, right? Well, that was emotional repression plotline from Equilibrium. Arglass says, "Oh, okay. I own all three Godfathers on Blu-ray." Chris Schober says, "Cool, man. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I forgot about this. I wanted to mention this. This is more of a personal thing, guys, because I do respect poker. I do like to play the occasional game of poker, but Doyle Brunson passed on. 89 years old. Doyle Brunson. Um, if you watch the movie Rounders, he constantly referred to Doyle Brunson because he was the godfather of poker. Wow, he's looking. Was that him there? No, that doesn't look like him. He always wore a cowboy hat. Um, and from what I heard, he was a tough player, man. Really tough player. Everybody looked up to him. Oh, Brunson passed on. Rest in peace. Happy Mother's Day. Yes, that was yesterday. And yeah, The Mother was number one on Netflix. Cool. Yeah, that got a few views. I got about 45 views. My watch along. I didn't hate The Mother. I kind of enjoyed that. Ah, yes. Here's the headlines that we were talking about over the weekend. Nicholas Hoult is a contender for the Superman is the role for Superman, not Lex Luthor. Yeah, I don't see him. I don't see him as Superman. He's got the physique, he's got the stature for it, but he was up for Batman. He was up for Batman alongside Robert Pattinson. I see him playing the new Batman. That's what I want to see. Him playing with the new Batman that's going to have his son as Robin, as Damian Wayne, his son Damian Wayne. I could see that. I want to see that over him playing Superman. Corn Sweat was the name that was in the lead for most people. And I think Corn Sweat's going to be it. We also had a whole bunch of other castings for possibilities for Lois Lane, and here they are here. Emma Mackey, Rachel Bronsana, Phoebe Denever, and Samara Weaving. Samara Weaving would be okay, but I heard that Rachel, this one, she had a standout performance, right? A knockout performance or casting audition. Not her. Maybe it was her. No, that's Emma Mackey, right? Her. She had a knockout performance for Lois Lane. I see Lois Lane in her. But again, it doesn't matter. It's about the script and what does the script call for. Um, yeah. Corn Sweat, Tom Brittney, Andrew Richardson are among the top contenders for the Superman role. And then Apparently, Jacob Elordi never put his name forward. He stepped back from it. Apparently, so there's Corn Sweat. I could see that. I could see that happening. This guy, Tom Brittany, maybe. Andrew Richardson, no, I don't see that. We would have to deal with that. But James, Christian Bale's got a mole right here on his face, and nobody complains about that. Well, and there's Jacob Elordi. As I said, his profile looks like he would be a great Superman, but sorry, his straight on, it looks like he could be a Superman, but his profiles, it doesn't match. Why are you so meticulous about the way people look, James? That's not very nice. Well, too bad. Hey, that's what we movie fans like to do. It gets the clicks. People talk about it. Corn Sweat, I think. Corn Sweat, I think, is going to probably be it. Weirdly, I can see Nicholas Hoult as Clark Kent, but not Superman. Arglass says, yeah, he would be an okay Clark Kent, depending on how they're going to play it too. Is he going to be playing that dopey, clumsy Clark Kent? I don't know. Happy birthday to Robert Pattinson. That was May 12th. All right. And then, yeah, that's where we ended off on Friday. Okay. I think that's it for me today, guys. We went overtime today, but that's fine. I'm going to cut out some of these stories and try posting it as little shorts later on. And I'm just refreshing my YouTube page here to see if any big trailers have dropped. I don't suspect there has. Otherwise, we would have seen it in the Twitterverse. The Boogeyman TV spot, Little Mermaid featurette, Fast X, Chargers versus Helicopters TV spot. Zelda movie in the works. Let's see if we can find something about that. Where did this rumor come from? Well, I'm imagining because of the $1.2 billion that Mario did. And you got to do Zelda. I wanted to see a live action Zelda. I did. But you can do it in cartoon and it'll be fine. Have him fight Ganon. And then you get the music too and stuff like that, and it works. Is there a Zelda movie in production? So it's just from the rumor sources. From the rumor mill. Can't find anything substantive of it. But if anything does, guys, I'm sure. I'm sure that we're going to get a Zelda movie here pretty soon. A lot of the stuff is going to get greenlit pretty fast because Mario was such a success. We're going to get Metroid and all Star Fox. We're going to get all of them, guys. I never knew I shared a birthday with Robert Pattinson and Emilio Estevez. I bragged that shared the same date. Cool. Oh, did you? Cool. Oh, yeah, you had a birthday too recently, right, Artglass? Happy birthday. Sorry about that. I've logged out of the one Facebook page because I was just getting like, add this person as your friend. I hate those notifications. And I was like, that's not the main page that I use for. I'll get that Facebook stuff sorted out, and once the 60 days lapses, probably at the end of this month, when I screwed everything up on the Facebook pages, I'll get that rectified. But anyway, that's all the headlines for today, guys. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Hit that thumbs up button. When was Artglass? It was like 2 days ago, right? May 13th or something, right? Artglass? Yeah. Mine's in December, so there you go. That's it for me. I've got to go have my breakfast here, guys. I'm coming up on like my 18 hours for fasting, so I got to get something in the old factory down here. See you next time. See you tomorrow, probably. Yeah, most likely for more stuff. And I'll try to do a watch along tomorrow, maybe. Yeah, we'll see. There you go. See you next time on Mirror Domains.